Hi, this is Tom Nunamaker. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Sqeeze page generator I've made. It's a tool that I made for myself, but I'm opening it up to other people to use it, and I'll be building on it as time goes by, but this is a short introduction video of how to use it. So if you don't have a key, it's all free by the way, go ahead and click on get a free key here, enter your email address and click get your key, and that will email you the key that you need to use the tool. If you have a key and you forgot it, you can just click here, put your email address in to recover the key, hit send key, and it'll email you your key again. I do set a cookie that's good for 6 months, so once you put your key in and you come back to the page, you shouldn't have to re-enter it unless you're on a different computer. But that's a nice feature, so it's available for you, whenever you want to use it. So here's the Sqeeze page generator. I've got 3 different templates right now. There's this basic template design that has the square corners with the shadow or the drop shadow around it. There's the plain version, and I'll just generate one to show it to you. This is the plain version. Then we have the, oh wait, that's the basic one. I'll change templates to the plain one. Show you what that one looks like. It's just similar, just rounded corners. And then we have a clean version, and we'll generate a Sqeeze page with that. And you can see it has rounded corners on the top and the bottom, and just a light gray background around the back. Okay, so I'm going to close these. And these templates that get generated, they stay on the server for about a day. There's a program that I have on the server that cleans up these files, so they're there probably about 24 hours, but you can always come back and regenerate them. When you hit generate Sqeeze page, it updates what you're currently using in the database, so all the CSS, all the things in the headed section of your HTML and the body section all get saved, and even the exit splash stuff. But let me go through all that for you just so you have an idea of how to use it. So you might have multiple Sqeeze pages, and you might combine the CSS into one file. So to avoid collisions with multiple Sqeeze pages sharing a CSS file, you can set an ID prefix. This is a CSS ID prefix, and you can see I've got this set to SQ003, and it gets pushed through all the different CSS values. Now if you want to change these, you can just go in here and change it, but it doesn't update it in the preferences in your database. It saves it, but if you come back later, it's not gonna save it. So if you want to rebuild this with a new prefix, and if you change prefixes, this is what you have to do. So if you want to go to like Tom01 for instance, I'll just rebuild it, and here you can see all the different CSS IDs or things that you can affect. And if you know CSS, there's a lot you can do, and it's very customizable. So if I hit this rebuild CSS with a new prefix and generate the Sqeeze page, now you'll see all these prefixes are all different. So it avoids collisions with multiple Sqeeze pages sharing the same CSS file. That's the whole idea. Okay, so the head section, this is in your HTML. This will be the title tag in the meta tag section, the description, the canonical stuff. If you want to see what that is, there's a link to see how Google explains that. It's basically the preferred URL that you're going to use for Google. If you have an external style sheet, you can specify that here. If you're going to use a countdown timer, I've got some code in here that you can start you off with, but if you click on this generate countdown code, again, this is another tool that I made for myself that you're welcome to use. And you can set the date and the time to expiration, what time zone you want to use, where is it going to go when the time expires, and there's a couple of different styles here you can pick, and you can just generate the code and see what it's going to look like. So this is this one style. I'll change it to style 1 and generate the code, and that looks like this. Now We have different ways you can format. So if you have a different language, you can change these. And there's a couple of different preset styles. So this is a more abbreviated style. And that's 4 days, 2 hours, 7 minutes, 54 seconds. And if you want to hide if it's a 0 value, so if you want to check these, then say when you get down to 0 days, and the days will disappear. If you have this unchecked, then if it gets down to 0 days, it'll show 0 days. So you can use this to generate this, and then once you get this code, you can copy it and come in here and paste it in. And you're going to have to do that in 2 places. So that's the header section, this is the body section, and that's the counter code here. Now one important thing on the counter code is make sure the date is in the future. If this date is in the past, then what's going to happen is when you load the page, it's going to see that the counter is expired, and it's going to redirect you to where that counter is supposed to go when the date expires. So make sure that this date is in the future. Otherwise, when you test it, it's not going to work. Okay, so what else do we have here? The CSS, okay, the head section, we've talked about that. And other, if you want to put, like here I've got some JavaScript for the JW player to load a video. If you have some other scripts you want to load, or anything else that goes in the head section of your HTML, that it would just go in here. And you can make this as big as you want. I think the database will store a pretty big chunk of text. So now here, if you have a header graphic you want to put in, this will be the HTML. So it's going to be like image source equals whatever your URL is, myimage.jpg, and you can set the width and the height and whatever other attributes you want to use. An image tag doesn't have an end tag, so in HTML you should have this slash to tell it that it's the end of a tag. The title goes here, and here's like a video embed code. So if you have an embed code from YouTube, you could just paste it right in here. I have this JW player embed code generator that I made, and you can take this CSS and paste it in, where is it? Oh, right here. So there's the CSS from this this code generator. And you can put in a YouTube URL or any other MP4, and the JW player will play it. You have to have the JW player installed on your site. You probably need this in your header section also. And you can, if you want the video to auto start, or what skin do you want to use, you have to have skins. You can buy them from Longtail Video. What image URL if you don't want it to autoplay, all these different options. But basically when you generate this, it's going to have some code for you right here, and this is what you're going to paste in the Sqeeze page generator. So here's this Ripping Tins YouTube video, so that's actually already in here, and that would be in the video embed right here. And okay, so you can put text above the call to action, then below the call to action, then you can have a call to action. So right now we've got it set to a button. If you want to, you can go to your email provider like Aweber, MailChimp, GetResponse, whatever, and put in the code for your button. And then if you want to delay that button showing, you can put that in here. So let me show you this. Say I want to delay this button for 10 seconds. Well, maybe 7 seconds. So when I generate the Sqeeze page, and we'll go over the rest of this in a little bit, but if I hit generate Sqeeze page and look at it, notice there's nothing below this video. So in 7 seconds we should see there it is, the click here now button. And this is great for timing your offer. So if you've got a buy now button, especially not for an opt-in for an email, but for a buy now, then it's great to time that. And Ryan Dice showed that it's better to delay that button showing, You know, you want to convince the person that whatever you're selling is worthwhile without getting the price or the buy stuff in the way. You know, convince them first, then make the offer and have the button appear. So that's where you can make this, you know, delay it. It's really handy and easy to do. And that hides everything, the above the call to action, below the call to action, the counter. All this is hidden for this number of seconds. And it's pretty easy to implement. The footer, I'm using a technique that I saw Charles use actually. It's a copyright.php. So if I load this by itself, this is HTML. It generates HTML. It's a PHP file, but it generates HTML like this. So you can just put it in an iframe like that and call it. And then all you have to do is maintain this PHP file. You can make it HTML too if you like. I added in a code here to make the year dynamic so it's always correct. But whatever you like, you can also just paste in the text. So you could put in, you know, this text, and you'd probably need to put in the HTML tags, because this is HTML, remember, it's not what you see is what you get. So you'd have to put in like a line break, you know, things like that. And in the future I might add in what you see is what you get kind of editor. Make it a little easier. I'm used to dealing in the raw code, so this is pretty flexible. Now let me just reload this because I want to use my iframe version instead. And the other thing we have here is the exit splash. So if you have exit splash, you put your script location down in here. So that would be something like this. And now if I generate a Sqeeze page and look at it, okay, there's my thing with the delayed call to action button. Oh, and I have this code up here that was it's not a valid URL for an image, so it doesn't know what to do with that. But here our button was displayed. But now if I try and navigate away from this, now the exit pop shows up to stay on the page or leave the page. So if I stay, I've got it set to 2 shop, but you can see the exit splash is working fine. So just you know, put your own code in there if you have it, and if you don't have exit splash, then go ahead and you can click here and it'll take you to the exit splash page, or you can get a copy of it if you don't have it. It's pretty good, and see, even trying leaving his page, he makes you go through that. So the big takeaways it's code. There's no, you know, it's kind of a power user version, but I've got things kind of set up for you. If you want to just use the defaults, they should work for you just fine. So just leave these prefixes and all this stuff alone, and it should work for you. Now, after you do generate it, you will get a zip file, and you can download that, and it's got all the graphics, and the CSS is embedded. So if let me just generate a Sqeeze page and look at the source code. So if I look at the source, you can see the HTML is embedded right here at Tom01 custom. So there's no external CSS file right now, it's all embedded in here. And the zip file will have the HTML file and the graphics to make that work. So you just upload that to your web server and point a browser to the page, and you should be good to go. Now every time you generate a page, it's going to give you a new URL. These are all pretty unique. I use different things, some random numbers, your IP address, the time, and just kind of mix and match it all. So this should be a unique file name. But obviously you don't want to use this as your production file name that you send traffic to. So you'd want to rename this file and put it on your server to whatever makes sense to whatever you're trying to, to sell or promote. So anyway, that's kind of a quick and dirty of how this works. And if you have any questions, I'll just type my email address in here. Tom, and I use Text Expander on the Mac. Tom@PaladinComputer.net. And I'd be glad to answer your questions. Thanks a lot. Bye.